Welcome to the Lisa Loves Stitching Studio vlogs. My name's Lisa and I'm coming to you from Brisbane. It's overcast and a bit rainy today. And I've just got back from the Queensland Yarn Festival. So I've got lots to tell you about, but not a lot to show you because I only bought one thing and it wasn't even yarn. So, but I could have bought lots of yarn, but I just didn't have the budget. So you would have already seen, I think I will have put the footage from the Yarn Fest at the beginning. And then, but if not, and you're seeing this first, the footage will come after. But yeah, I would like to get started at sharing my thoughts on the day and what I purchased and what I've been working on. I don't have any FOs. I just realized you can probably hear the classical music that I have on for the dogs when we're out. I'm just going to shut the door. We put classical or jazz on for them and it keeps them happy. So yeah, get a cup of tea or whatever beverage you like, and settle in because this is probably going to be a reasonably long episode, and let's get started. So I went to the Queensland Yarn Fest. It's held at the Sports and Events Centre at Morayfield, which is north of Brisbane. And apart from, getting there early this morning, it was great to see that there was hardly any parking left because so many people were coming, which is great. But it was very smooth compared to last year. I did get parking down the back on the grass, so that was fine. And then it was very smooth going in. I thought there'd be a big line, but there wasn't. And it was kind of like a nice steady stream of people coming in. And it was really, really lovely because it was, being a rainy day, it was all undercover. There was facilities there. There was a cafe outside the room, seating. So plenty of places for people to, stop and have a rest in between looking at the lovely yarn. So I arrived at about 9:20, and once I paid my donation to get in, which was raising money for a women's charity, all the yarn, all the sellers and vendors were all in the one room, which was fantastic, and really wide aisles, which we needed because by the time I was leaving, it was extremely crowded, but you could still get through, but it was pretty crowded, which is fabulous to see because, that's good for the vendors. And thank you to Rebecca and whoever else helped Rebecca in organising and setting up and being there for the day, for this weekend, and made it possible because it's lovely to be able to have a yarn festival in our own backyard, so to speak. And so it was really, really lovely. So there was about 57 vendors altogether, some from as far as South Australia, New South Wales and Queensland. So I don't know, and Victoria, I think. But I don't know if there was anyone from Perth or Tassie there. I didn't see any that I was familiar with being from those areas. But yeah, it was such a lovely group of vendors. Lots of things for everybody. So there was spinning, crochet, knitting, weaving, felting, even some embroidery supplies. You name it, finger knitting. There was just something pretty much for everybody. So it was really, really good. So what I did when I came in, there was like about 2 or 3 rows in the middle. I think it was 2 rows in the middle, and then vendors on the outside. And there was seating down one end as well as a felting workshop happening. And then at the other end, I think there was more seating available for people to just have a break. So it was really good. So I started near the door, worked my way down all the way around to the perimeter of the room, and then I went down the first aisle, back up, back down, back up, until I got to the end. So I tried to film everything, and I stopped along the way to chat to some friends that I met, and so I tried to film as much as possible and put in, like when I was capturing their stall, to try and capture their signage so you can see who it is. But I'll also put the vendor list down below. And there's a lucky door prize as well that you could put your name down for some yarn at the end. Oh, there was also some really interesting Himalayan nettle yarn, which was really good. They had some like washes made with that, which was really, really interesting. I wouldn't like to crochet or knit with it myself because it was extremely rough. But once it was made into something, it was beautiful. So that was really interesting. And there was also linen, silk, cotton, fancy yarns, you name it, there was something there for everyone, and beautiful fibre bats, braids, all sorts. So there was someone spinning, doing a spinning demonstration, which you would have seen because I took some footage of that. There was someone with a machine knitting stall. There was felting. And then the weaver's stall had beautiful wall hangings and stuff that they had made that was for sale, which was really lovely. So, and the felting kits, oh my God, near where the felting workshop was, you'll probably see one of the young blokes put the whale, when he saw me videoing, he put the whale up near, but there was this beautiful humpback whale and even had barnacles felted on the top of it. It was amazing, and it had glitter in it. And then there was these cute little dogs, and oh gosh, so many cute things. And beautiful stitch markers and accessories and all sorts of things, as well as project bags. And 1121 Windmills, she had her stall there. So like lovely tools and accessories, and stitch markers and project bags, handmade. Arnie Nat's Knits had some more of those rainbow sheep bags. I would have loved to have gone back and she had like a notions pouch with 2 zippers in. I would have liked that. But anyway, as it was, I only came away with one thing. My main thing for going, I had a very tight budget because I've had lots of medical bills recently, which I'll go into at the end. Oops, I just realised my buttons come undone. I don't want to flash everybody. So my main thing in my mind, because I can't get it unless I see her in person, pretty much. There is one place where Helen sells her mugs down in Vend on the south side, Vend Market. But otherwise she's at Bribey, so she doesn't have a store. So she comes to the festivals and that. So I covet her mugs. I really love them. I love the texture. I love the colours. I love for me, it's like the 70s, 80s vibes. And last year I got a beautiful green mug, similar to the one I've got today. But it was my fault. I left it on the end of the bench and it just got knocked and broke. So that was my main thing this weekend, was to get a lovely mug. So this is the mug I got, and I wish there was another mug and it said it was smaller than this, and it was green with the carved out bits like leaves, and it had handwritten in black paint, "Fuck the patriarchy." And I think I really would have liked to have gone back and got that one. But yeah, her mugs were like $30 each, or 2 for $55. And I got this one. So it's sort of like a coral colour, like coral red, pinky red, and just has these textured bits carved out. She likes to sort of replicate nature she's a marine bio, Helen, I should say Helen is of Knit or Dye, is a marine biologist, and she loves doing pottery and dyeing yarn. So she has beautiful hand dyed yarn. She has pottery. Actually, I wouldn't mind getting, she had like beautiful pottery bowls, and she also had vases that were lovely. And a little milk jug sort of thing. Yeah, but this is what I came back with. So very happy with that. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow's pumpkin spice latte or cappuccino in my new mug. So that's all I bought. I know, sorry. But I'm sure you went shopping in your mind when you watched the video of all the different vendors. I would have liked to have had some sock yarn for myself to make some fun socks, but you know, I know who the vendors are. I can always go online and purchase something later. So if you're going to Queensland Yarn Fest, it's on Saturday and Sunday. So around this time next year, it'll be on again. It's still on tomorrow, but I'm not sure when this video will go up, if it'll have already passed. Okay, let's get into what I've been knitting. So I sort of have an almost hoe half object in my project bag from Kana Made that I purchased from I think it was Crystal Cat Stitchery. No, that was a different company. Who did I buy it off? I'm sure they had it for sale, these bags. Anyway, this is my little project bag. I get a lot of comments from it. Even one child on the train went, "Dog," you know, and then his mother realised he was pointing at my bag. This is perfect for a one skein project. So I've got in here the sock yarn I purchased from Bendigo Bendigo Woolen Mill. And I'm making these socks for Wayne. So I've done one sock, finished it yesterday, finished the toe, and then I've got this waste yarn in for the heel. So I've actually started this morning. I've cast on the second sock. So I'm going to do the second sock the same as this, and then I'll just do the heels for both one after the other when I'm finished, just in case for some reason there's not enough yarn. Then I've got the option to put a different colour in for the heel. But yeah, so this knit up beautifully. It's a lovely colour. I'm sorry the light's not that great here, but it's a really pretty emerald green. And beautifully and soft. And yeah, I did knit this on larger needles than I usually do. I think these are, I normally knit on 2.25, and I think these are 2.5 millimeter. So they're a little bit bigger than they normally would be. And in hindsight, I probably would have dropped these down to like a 64 stitch cast on instead of my usual 72. But they'll still fit Wayne. They're going in his boots, so that's okay. So, basically for these, I just did a 1x1 ribbed cuff for about 1 inch. And then I knit, I think it was 6 inches, put in the waste yarn for the heel, 5.5 inches, and then did a rounded toe. Yeah. So that's what I've done so far. So I've woven in the end for the toe, and yeah, now I just have to knit the other sock. So that's that one. So that's sort of a half object done, a hoe. And whoops, pop that back on itself. Now, I can't remember if I showed you last time, so apologies if you've seen this already before, but I did knit one glove, which was a mitten pattern, but by Tin Can Knits. No, it's a different pattern. I'll put the details below. I can't remember offhand, but it's a cabled mitten pattern, and I just finished it off to do, I think it was a mitten pattern. No, fingerless mitts. It was for definitely fingerless mitts. But it's this beautiful cabled pattern. So these are going to be for my mum. It ended up being a little bit, I will say, big. So the next one I do, I will not do as many. I'll still cast on the same amount of stitches here, but I will not do as many increases here because this is a bit big. Yeah, so this is using DK Weight Divine Superfine Merino that I purchased at Bendigo Woolen Mill, and it was in their back room, and it's a really lovely blue, tealy blue, and this is just such a lovely cable. And if you have never tried cables, a mitten pattern's a good one to try with. It's very easy. It's just knits, stitches, and some purl, and then you're literally just holding some stitches forward while you knit a couple of stitches, and then knitting those stitches you had on hold that you held forward or backward, and that's what creates the little twist. So don't be afraid of cables. They're very easy when you come to do them. So that's that. So that's another hoe. And another whip that I've got going that I've been working on is out of this Pirate Pearl Scuttlebutt base yarn in the, let me see, sorry, I just dropped the tag on the floor. Ugh. I wonder if anyone saw me today and noticed that I was wearing mismatched socks. They're hand knit, but they're all my hand dyed yarn, but they're just two different socks. But they sort of match together, so the tops of them are the same. So this is their Scuttlebutt base, and it's 80% Perendale, 20% black merino, 8-ply woolen spun yarn, 210 meters in 100 grams, blue tourmaline colorway. And that's where I'm up to so far. And I'm knitting the Stalk and Pip Beret, which I'll put the pattern details down below. So I'm just knitting the stockingette. I've done the increases. I'm just knitting down with stockingette, and then I'll do the decreases for the brim. So it won't look so daggy like this because this is on the needles. But this is going to be a beret, so, and it's very lovely. Really love this colour. I think it suits. So yeah, really looking forward to having this finished, but I didn't want to, I had a sore finger, which I'll tell you about when I get to the medical stuff. So I didn't feel like knitting on this the whole time. Just because this wool's a bit more rustic. So I had plans to finish it to wear today, but I just didn't get it done. And in the end, I'm like, you know what? I've had a bit of a time of it lately. I'm just not going to push myself. So unfortunately, I didn't get that finished in time, but I did take the socks today, but as it was, I never got any work done on it anyway. But the socks have been a really good one to have for commuting and work meetings. So that's been really good. I better put that tag in there. Also, before I forget, I did pick up some cards, so I stopped by Daffodil Road Yarn. They have some lovely yarn. Everyone has lovely yarn. This one, Life and Loops, Lil. It's okay to be a little loopy. Hand-dyed yarn, handmade hooks, crochet patterns. So they had a lot of crochet patterns, blankets. And there's their QR code if you want to scan that, freeze it, pause and scan the QR code. Otherwise, I'll put a link to their website below. And then I stopped at another place that had beautiful, I think it was alpaca blend stuff, hand-dyed yarn, hand-dyed bats, as well as some 3D printed stuff for hand spinning, wool to yarn. And Alistair and Belinda Chew, and they're from Mornington, Victoria. So there you go. And then at the Ash and Eve store, they were giving away little stickers, so I picked up a sticker. Hamster's Float. Isn't that cute? I'll pop that in my little journal as a memory from today. And definitely have some Ash and Eve yarn on my wish list for later for some sock yarn. So what else? I haven't really been knitting on anything else, so that's pretty much that. But I have plans. So there's this new Hot Right Now pattern. I cannot even tell you who it's by. I will put a link below. Maybe I'll put it under Knitting Plans Hot Right Now. There's this, you might have seen it if you've been on Ravelry, but there's this boxy sort of t-shirt jumper, and it's done with 4-ply yarn, and it's done in horizontal stripes that go vertical. So you knit it this way instead of this way. And I really want to make it. So I decided to stash dive my hand-dyed yarn that I dyed myself. And I came up with these 3 skeins, and I do have another one that's similar, because I think I might need 4 skeins. And so I've got these. Wait, and I've got to pause. Wayne's trying to... Right, I'm back. Wayne just needed to find out what I needed from the shop before he comes home. So what I was getting at was I have these 3 hand-dyed yarns that I dyed myself. Are these my colours? I don't know. And I also have this lighter colour. So I thought I could do the stripes in this, and this would probably be maybe enough. And I do have a few extra skeins there if not. So yeah, so that's what I plan to do. If I find it, I will pop a picture here somewhere along the way. But yeah, that's what I want to do. This yarn is sort of like I dyed these all together. So this is like the more saturated version. Then this is the less saturated, but it's got some of these turquoise blues. Sorry for the dogs barking. And then we've got this beautiful colorway, which is sort of like, I based it off like where the water comes into the sand. And then there's this sea glass colorway, which does have the odd fleck of green in there. Yeah, so that's that. So that's my plans, as well as using, like I want to do that love note maybe. But I need to re-swatch for that, because obviously the first time was a disaster. Thank you to the person who left a detailed comment on doing swatches. I shall look at that and try again. And then this was, oh, that hurt. This was the original swatch. Lovely colour yarn I got from Bendigo Woolen Mills, the Wallamai yarn. Beautiful. Bloody dogs. They're barking. Anyway, keeping on. So, before I go, health update. If you watched, I think my last one, I would have talked about finding a suspect thing on my nose, and then I went and had it biopsied, and it was a BCC, basal cell carcinoma, on my nose, on the bridge of my nose. And I've since had a skin graft, so you can see here I've just got this little bit to close up. And then I can start using the Stratoderm gel on it to soften the scar. And this is where I had the skin taken from here, which is healed really, really well, in order to pop here. But at the moment, I don't like how it feels. It feels like there's no feeling in there. It's dead, but it's healing really well apparently, but it feels dead. So it's a very disconcerting sensation. So at the moment, I have been wearing makeup this week, but I dried the skin out a bit here. So I haven't been able to put anything on here specifically till this closes up, and then I can moisturize it and do all the things. So I've just been washing it with face wash, which was recommended. And yeah, so it looks a bit red, but that's because my glasses rub. So hopefully the Stratoderm gel will settle that down, which I think as it's going, I'll probably need like shares in Stratoderm. It's a Swiss company that produces this gel that breaks down the scars, especially if you've got bulky scars, even old ones. So check that out from the chemist. It's not cheap. 5-gram tube is like $29. But apparently, from what people tell me, it's like the bomb. It's just fantastic. So anyway, so that's that. So that led to having my first skin check in 20 years. So I thoroughly recommend, even if you're not a ginger like me, especially if you live in Australia or Queensland, anywhere really, if you've ever been sunburned, you should go and have a skin check. Okay. So I went and had a skin check, and she didn't like the look of this one on my finger, which used to come up like red and just like it had been rubbed, and it would come up sort of red and sore and itchy and sometimes bleed. And she did a biopsy on that one, and it come back as a squamous cell carcinoma, so another slow growing tumour. So that's got to come off. They'll have to take a wider cut. So another biopsy was a freckle, a faint coloured freckle, which I'll put a picture of here if I can. It didn't look like much, but it was new. And she didn't like the look of it. So she did a biopsy on that one. Not the funnest area to get it off there because it's very sensitive, the skin. And that one came back as an in situ early stage melanoma. So I was a bit shocked. I mean, not shocked, but shocked, because I thought I'd get lots of BCCs over time because, you know, I'm a ginger. I live in Australia. I've been burnt numerous times. But yeah, I was shocked at my age still. I thought I'd get a bit further along, but it doesn't care about age or anything like that. So definitely go and get a skin check, because if I hadn't have gone, we might have been having a different conversation in 12 months or 18 months time, and I might not have had such a good outcome. So in situ means it hasn't gone anywhere, and it's just early stage. It's just in the top layer of skin, so it hasn't spread. So I'm very lucky that I got that. So they're going to have to cut like a wider section, which luckily I can get done under local anaesthetic. Like I had this one done by local anaesthetic, but it was done at the hospital. This one I can get done at the skin clinic by local anaesthetic and just get a wider margin cut out. And then they'll send that off to pathology. That'll be next month. And then if the pathology comes back clear, no further action required. If it's not clear, then I'll have to have more cut out, a wider margin. So by then we'll probably be getting up to here. And I suppose if that's the case, they might have to do something else as well, other treatment. So I am extremely, extremely lucky that I went when I did and got a skin check. Now I had previously asked about this at a different location with someone who was not checking skin day in, day out. So I do recommend probably going to a skin clinic where they're looking at skin all the time. It's their bread and butter. And so this doctor, Dr. Bailey, she picked this up, and this one, which I'd complained about previously, but they didn't think much of it. But when I went to her, she's like, no, don't like the look of that. So yeah, definitely get it checked. If you're still not happy with the answer and you're worried, go back again and ask to have it checked again, because, you know, sometimes they change a little bit and then they do show up more as a problem. Sometimes you get them so early they don't look, you know, bad. So yeah, so definitely get that checked. And then it's just a matter of getting some local anaesthetic and getting it cut out. And you just keep going for skin checks every 6 months, and hopefully you never have anything get further than an early stage. So yes, I'm very lucky. So 23rd of next month. I got to get that cut out. Yay for me. And then I've got another one that's annoying me on this finger, and I can't remember if she checked this one, so I'm just going to ask her about it. Is it going to show up? That one there. So I'll just double check with her on that one. And when I go in to get this one, we're going to make a plan for this one because there's not much real estate there, and they have to cut like a margin, and it's a bit awkward being that it's right near my knuckle. So anyway, we shall see how we go. But yeah, definitely I can recommend go and get a skin check, a full skin check. They'll check, yeah, you know, and don't discount. You can have moles and things on your head that you don't see under your hair, and that can also be a problem, even if you think you've never got burnt there, okay? Because my uncle had one on his head and it spread to his throat. So, you know, get a skin check. That's all my news. Lots of medical bills because pathology is not covered. And you get these awful pathology bills at the end as well. And the nose cost about, I suppose, $3,500 plus 337 pathology bill, and I got about 750 back on the nose, plus about 80 something back from the pathology. And then the biopsies for these cost 150, and then this one to get cut out is going to be about $600 and something, plus maybe pathology after that because they've got to send it away to get checked again. So yeah, it adds up. So hence the reason I haven't bought any yarn today. But you know, look, I've got all this lovely yarn that I dyed myself, so I got that to play with. All right, well, that's all from me. I'll hopefully, you know, I'm sorry it's been a little while. This year's been a bit rough with videos. But hopefully soon things will even out. But yeah, I don't know how miserable I'll feel once I get this taken out, but I will try and come back to you sooner. Yes, and a special hello to Jolyn, who caught me on my way out the door. I was sweaty and like overwhelmed from all the crowd inside the Yarn Fest today, and she yelled, like I came out the door and I heard, "Lisa," and I turned around and I said, "Hello," and she's like, "Oh, I've seen your video from last year," and I was so excited to meet someone that's watched my video, and it was lovely to meet you, Jolyn, and she showed me her beautiful yarn that she'd purchased to make a sweater. It was lovely and soft. I think it was alpaca, if I'm correct. And yeah, so that was really, really lovely. Thank you for stopping me to say hello. And hopefully I'll see you around town. I didn't ask if you know, live locally to, you know, catch up sometime for a knit and natter. But anyway, it was lovely to meet you, and I'll insert a photo at the end as well. And because we took a selfie. And yeah, so if you went to the Yarn Fest, let me know down below. Did you buy yarn? What did you buy? Do you have plans for it? What plans do you have for it? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to know. All right, I'll catch you all hopefully in a couple of weeks. Till then, bye.